Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. As I'm releasing this video, we're setting the intention here for a message for August 3rd, depending on where you are in the world. The 3rd may have already come and gone. So the true intention here is that this be a message for you for the next 24 hours, whenever you happen to see it. Whatever hemisphere you're on, whatever time zone you're on, whatever day or month or week you fall upon this message, we're setting the intention here that this be a message for the next 24 hours. Let's connect here, my darlings, and see what's coming up. And we have Judgment. Okay. Another major arcana card. We had a major arcana card yesterday. Makes sense why the card for the first was the Four of Swords, and then the card for the second was major arcana, card for the third is major arcana. So if you did not heed the message for the first where you were told to get some rest, try to do so, because major arcana cards tell us that we're coming into times of change and growth and transition and progress. Okay? Now, yesterday's card was the Wheel, which is really positive. It tells us that we're moving on, we're getting unstuck, things are moving, right? Next thing here with Judgment is going to be decisions and choices, okay? Big life choices, okay? I'm not talking about what you feel like having for lunch or if you feel like watching TV or not. I'm talking about big life choices, okay? This could be changing course, changing direction. This could be career change. This could be embracing a calling. Sometimes the Judgment card comes up when we're feeling called to do something. And a lot of the times when we're feeling called to do something, it might not make sense to the people around us. Okay, and that's okay. I can tell you that when I felt called to do tarot and energy healing, anyone who knew me was not okay with it. They're like, you've lost your mind, you've gone crazy. So there could be something here where you're feeling moved to do something, and it might not make sense to the people around you, but that feeling might be getting stronger and stronger to the point where it's becoming more difficult for you to ignore it. Okay, some of you are in a situation, sometimes I see this happen with the Judgment card. Some of you are in a situation where you're awakening, okay? You're seeing the truth, you're going through your paradigm shift, you're seeing through the illusions, and you're trying to carry people with you. You're trying to rescue people that you see that are drowning, right? And I've used this example before with the Judgment card. So you might be seeing people that you're trying to carry or lift up because you're like, well, hey, you know what? I know what it's like to be in that situation. I know what it's like to be struggling and to have nobody. There's a difference between holding space for someone and letting them do their work versus letting this person drag you down. We each have to do our own work, okay? It's nice when we can have people around that have our back, that are encouraging us, that are rooting for us, but we each have to pull ourselves out of the ditch. Nobody can pick us up and take us out. We can have people that give us advice and say, hey, you know what might work? You can grab onto that part there and put your foot there and you can pull yourself up like this, but we can't actually do the work for them. Okay, otherwise we're gonna get pulled back down into the ditch. And so the example I give is, it makes me think sometimes of I'm dating myself here, the Never-Ending Story with Atreyu, and he's taking Artax, his horse Artax, through the swamp of sadness. And when they're going through the swamp, you have to try to keep a high vibration. You have to try to keep happy. If you let the sadness of the environment take you over, you start sinking into the swamp. And he's telling his horse, like, come on, you have to fight. You can't give in to this energy. And it gets to the point where he has to go. He has to let the horse gives up. And if he keeps trying to pull that horse, he's gonna drown in that swamp too. And so he has to let go. It's a painful decision to make. It's a difficult decision to make. But some of you are at this crossroads with certain people in your life. They're not doing the work. And if they're not doing the work, we have to let them fall away. We have to say, okay, I have to do what I need to do for my self-preservation, for my mental health, my emotional well-being, my physical well-being, and I need to disconnect and I need to go down this path. I need to stay in this vibration. So some of you might be making big life decisions that are taking you away from people you've known for a long time, or communities or movements you've belonged to for a long time. But if you don't, you're going to get pulled down. And you've worked so hard to get to where you are now, right? So it's kind of like you got to move forwards. Otherwise, you're going to go backwards. There's no standing still. When the Judgment card appears, there's no standing still. A decision has to be made. And either you're going to move forward or you're going to allow yourself to be pulled backwards when you've done all this work to get out of that. Okay? So, big life decisions, big changes. Some of you may be feeling like it's time to answer a calling. I do feel here, this happens to me rarely when I read tarot or when I get messages. You guys know that I'm an intuitive reader, and like things about the pictures or images will jump out at me, or like a word or something, and it's usually not literal. There's a lot of symbolism, but the word judgment is really kind of standing out at me in this message. And some of you are learning to embrace your calling despite being under the lens of judgment. Some of you might have a lot of fear and a lot of worry about how people see you, about how people view you. And so it might have hindered you a lot in your life from embracing your authenticity. But I can promise you this: the sooner you embrace your authenticity, the sooner life flows more easily, because you're going with nature. You're going with the current instead of working against it. Instead of swimming against the current, you're going with the current. So things begin to fall into place more quickly. You begin to connect with the right people more quickly. It will bless your love life for many of you. You guys know I'm not a love psychic. I don't focus on love in my readings, except for when I do the monthly love readings. But I'm seeing so many of you who are my regulars, who I've been reading for since I started YouTube. A lot of you are like, Amethyst, I just got engaged. Amethyst, we're moving in together. Amethyst, we just set a wedding date. And when I met you all, well, we didn't meet in person, but when I began reading for you, you were very much alone and very single, and feeling very alone and just trying to figure out how to get unstuck. But a lot of you have been embracing your authenticity. The sooner you embrace your authenticity, you find where you belong. Things begin to click, and sometimes that is also in terms of friendships and romance. So it's hard to embrace our authenticity if we're wrapped up and worried about what other people are gonna think. But at the end of the day, are these people paying your bills? Are they really there for you in your times of sadness? Or are they people who tend to celebrate with you when there's good things going on, and it's tumbleweeds and crickets when you need help? Or they just kind of criticize you or put you down, or do that weird frenemy thing where they kind of compete with you. It's like a competitive supposed friendship, but they're around you because they want to see you do bad because it makes them feel good about themselves, or the misery loves company dynamic, right? The sooner we can release ourselves from that fear of judgment and embrace our truth, the more smoothly our life is going to go, and the more quickly things are going to fall into place. And so a lot of you, your antenna is up right now. You're being directed into taking changes. Obviously, the changes are scary, right? Negative ego hates change, even when the change is something positive, even when the change is something good. And the closer we are to a massive breakthrough, the louder and the meaner and the more persistent and the uglier the negative ego becomes and starts tearing into us and telling us we're so stupid and it's too late and we're going to die alone and we're going to be penniless and we're going to be broke and we're going to be suffering and our life is over and we're so stupid and we're not good enough and we're so ugly and, you know, just all this kind of stuff. Nobody likes you, blah, 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 blah. Negative ego comes in vicious. So you have to be mentally aware of your thoughts. You have to be present with your thoughts and say, oh, here's the negative ego. It's coming in hard right now, man. It's really tearing into me. And it's so mean. It's so persistent right now. I must be so close to a massive breakthrough. I must be so close to a major shift. Because negative ego, lower vibrational energies, I talked a little bit about lower energy and evil, dark energy yesterday, and a lot of the haters fell off. I dropped a ton of subscribers, so I know who the haters were, who couldn't take it, who began melting and ran away. But I'm telling you that with these negative energies, these lower vibrational frequencies, these workers of darkness, they cannot get in the way of God. They cannot get in the way of the universe. They cannot stop God or universe from blessing you. What they can do is mess with you so much that you begin to doubt yourself. You begin to see yourself as unworthy and you don't show up to take your blessing. They can't stop God, they can't stop the universe, but they can try to mess with you to get you to give up and to make you to feel like you're not worth it. And the closer you are to that breakthrough and bringing about positive change, the louder and the meaner that negative ego is. And when you don't listen to the negative ego, you may have low vibrational people around you that begin to hinder you. You got to let them fall off. You're trying, sometimes when we're on the spiritual path, we're like, oh, I'm going to be loving and I'm going to send love and I'm going to heal this person through love and I'm going to send them positive energy. Judgment card is saying, honey, that time is past. Judgment card is saying it's time for you to take your positive energy and put it to work for yourself in your life, in your goals, in the things you're being guided to do. And let those other people worry about themselves, because they're not on the same path as you. Okay? I thank you all for watching. The private calendar is still closed. I'm working on my cognitive functions right now. I'm also on pain medications and things for my back and my muscle contusions. So I'm not really comfortable doing private readings right now with people's really specific questions where I really have to like hone in on their energy. And I take it seriously. You guys are coming to me with your life. I don't want to be doing, you know, private readings until like I can spend 8 hours a day reading. I'm not in a place right now where I can read for 8 hours, right? Or 5 or 6 hours. But the daily cards are good because they're quick, they're brief, and I can rest in between. But I will let you all know when I'm opening up the private readings again, or you can check the calendar. I think it's set for like a few weeks out, but I'm not doing private readings in the next couple of weeks. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I hope you all have a fabulous day ahead, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's message. Take care, my dears.